people dream of success, while other people get up every morning and make it happen. A very pleasant morning to one and all present here. Prayer is not asking, it is a longing of the soul. Now I call upon Ashi and Asifa to sing the prayer song. People are either born to be hosts to receive welcome or born to be guests to receive welcome. Now I call upon Sudiksha to give the welcome address.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast. I, Subiksha Pahiradan from 2nd BCom General B, take immense pleasure in welcoming each and everyone present here. Successful people have a social responsibility to make the world a better place and not just take from it. I extend my amiable welcome to our honorable chief guest, Mr. C.A. Abhishek Murali, to our today's event. We welcome you here. Mr. C.A. Abhishek Murali is a practicing chartered accountant at Chennai who is the partner of Ms. Victor Grace and Company Chartered Accountants. He was the elected secretary of the Southern India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 2020-21. He is also an All India first rank holder in the CIMA strategy examinations and an All India 17th rank in the final examinations. He also secured the All India 5th rank in the International Taxation Examinations conducted by CIOT. Dr. C. Abhishek Murali is the youngest elected regional council member in the history of the Southern Indian Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for 2 terms by securing the highest number of votes from Tamil Nadu. He has the honor of being the youngest elected secretary of the SIRC of ICAI. During his term as secretary, the SIRC won the Best Region Award of the ICAI for the first time in more than 10 years. Dr. C.A. Abhishek Murali is presently the president of All India Taxpayers Association. Dr. C.A. Abhishek Murali is also the president of Citizen Awareness Forum of India. He is also a founding board member of the ARK Foundation, which plays a key role in providing underprivileged families access to expensive medication at affordable prices. He has received special awards and recognition for capital gains and advice for the real estate and construction sector. Dr. C.A. Abhishek Murali is also the president-elect for the Rotary Club of Madras, Next Gen, and will be the president for 2023-24. He is an expert in direct taxation, international taxation, litigation, appeals, and valuation. Thank you so much, sir, for being here on your busy schedule. I feel elated to welcome our principal, Dr. S. Padmavati ma'am, and our vice principal, Dr. Rukmani ma'am, on this special occasion. I extend my cordial welcome to the head of the Commerce Department, Dr. V. Anuradha ma'am, and other faculty members to this event. And a dynamic welcome to all the students who are eagerly present here for our today's event. Once again, a heartfelt welcome to everyone gathered here. Thank you.
Now I request the Vice Principal ma'am to felicitate the Chief Guest with memento. Now I request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. C.A. Abhishek Murali, to come up on the stage and address the gathering.
Respected Vice Principal, pleasure and a privilege for me to once again be addressing the students of this very prestigious school. I've had the opportunity to do it multiple times online before. It's the first time I'm coming physically. Thanks to COVID, we had a break in between where we could not address. But it's very nice to see the beaming young faces smiling at me on this budget session. I wasn't smiling like this when I heard the budget. But then it's also important for us to understand why. Most of you here today, as I understand, are mostly final year BCom students or commerce students. I understand some of you are pursuing CA or your CMA, etc. also. So given this backdrop, given your background, and given the fact that you are all now going to get into employment or your future studies or going to make an impact somewhere, it could be a family business, it could be even at home, it could be at some other educational institute, but somewhere you are all going to take the next step in your life. So when normally budget and all you don't care about, doesn't impact too high level, but now suddenly you're going to start realizing more and more these sort of inputs are going to impact you, and on a day-to-day basis they may even come to you for advice. You know, I've always found it very unique. The commerce profession, or even a commerce student, enjoys a very unique profession in society. If you travel in a school bus, if you travel in a public bus, or you travel in a public train, the moment you tell the person next to you, I'm a commerce student, immediately they will start asking you doubts. Sir, I have a tax doubt. Madam, I the tax help pannunga, please help. So this sort of expectation, you don't even have to be a tax expert. You simply told I'm a commerce student. They don't know whether you are passing, failing, arrears also. But the moment you say it, immediately there's one expectation from society. So you are all going to start feeling that expectation now. It's around that time when you're in the third year, when once you graduate and pass out, you're all going to feel that weight of society on you. Which means, to a certain extent only we can say, that is actually not in my syllabus. And only to a certain extent we can say. Now beyond this point, it is all very important that we need to be aware of what's happening. So a few suggestions, since you're all going to be facing interviews. Read the newspaper, keep updated, at least one financial newspaper, Economic Times, Financial Times, Business Line, something. Be definitely updated with your current affairs, because these are very important developments which will be, for any time I interview someone, I always ask more on, what are you aware is happening around you. And I think that is one of the basic expectations. So what is happening around us, probably the most important thing right now, is definitely the union budget. Will I have a slide changer or how should I? Okay, fine, thank you. So the Honorable Finance Minister on 1st of February has presented the Union Budget of India, which is of course presented every year as a very, very important thing. The more important aspect of this Union Budget is there are three parts, if I can say, to the budget. One is the macroeconomic changes. We would have studied all various macroeconomic developments, what are the important key initiatives, etc. So in this, the first large part, or what we call the part A of the budget, focuses on the macroeconomic development. We want housing for the poor. We want to ensure that everyone has insurance, smart cities. Then PM Gati Shakti was announced last year. Like that, this year, 7 areas of super boost was announced. You must all be aware of ChatGPT. Yes? Have any of you tried ChatGPT? No? So it's very interesting, ChatGPT, because it's basically artificial intelligence, where if you ask a question, it drops out an answer. I asked the ChatGPT a question. Why is it important to file the income tax return? And it came out within a matter of 2 seconds, a full paragraph, a full article, around 4 or 5 paragraphs, explaining why it is so important to file a return of income. I used to get paid by the Hindu to publish that. So I said, okay, that income is gone now. So this is very, very simple, that AI is suddenly evolving and it's trying to take away a lot of the jobs. So one aspect of seeing is, oh God, my job is going or my income is going. Another way of looking at it is, how can I gear up myself to handle this reality? There was a time, probably at our parents' ages, when they were, after they finished their college, etc., they would have all faced a time where computers suddenly came. Computers were not very permanent in India. It wasn't so predominant in India. It was not there in every workspace till the mid-90s. Suddenly in the mid-90s, Indians started making computers. It became very easily available to all. So then, if someone said, I will not look at computer, I will put only a calculator, then automatically the importance of that person to the organization diminishes. So if that person needs to be advanced to the current stage of technology, he has to learn what is a monitor, what is a keyboard, what is a mouse. It's very basic to us today. You and I find it basic. But imagine when it first came, people just refused to do it. What is this? Typewriting classes I did not go. I don't know how to use the keyboard. That was the sort of approach that people had at one point of time. And first 2-3 years, the system will be able to accommodate them. But after 3 years, suddenly you will find that these people are not advantageous to the business. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. So you will find that they are not advantageous to the business. They are actually pulling people back. So within a couple of years, suddenly these people will lose their jobs, or they lose their roles, or they will have to get a lesser salary. So a big part of technology is we have to constantly keep updated to it and upgrade ourselves. And I think our government has recognized that. So a big area of this Saptarishi is to be, updated with technology. So one of the key things is AI. They are bringing out to upskill Indians. A big challenge today. Your university, luckily, is a very prestigious university. It has a brand. It has good teachers. You're coming out, well educated. But you all have engineering friends. And you will know there are around 1,500 engineering universities down every street. Anywhere you go, some engineering university is there. So can you tell me, when people graduate out of these universities, you think all of them are going to get jobs? No. You think all of them are equal to each other? No. So you've been educated, but you're still unemployed. And that is a very big challenge in India today, where you're educated but unemployed. You know what they usually say? Efforts are good, but results matter at the end of the day. There's one priest dies and he goes to heaven. And he's at the gates of heaven and he goes to God and he says, God says, Mr. Priest, you have been preaching my name for 40 years. So when you go inside the gates of heaven, you are going to be rewarded with a single bedroom house with an attached bathroom. He says, thank you very much, Lord, I am very grateful to you. He says, please wait, you can go together with the next person. He says, next person come. He's the Ottoman. So he says, Mr. Ottoman, you are a drunkard and you are an alcoholic. And whenever you are driving under influence and you are putting so many lives at risk. So when you go inside the gates of heaven, you are getting a 4-bedroom bungalow with an attached swimming pool. So the priest is watching. He says, my Lord, how is this fair? I have been preaching your name for 40 years. And then you are giving this alcoholic fellow who's put so many people's lives at risk. You are giving me this and you are giving me this. How is this fair? He says, my dear son, your efforts are all great, but at the end of the day, results matter. Because when you were praying, everybody was sleeping. But when he was driving, everybody was praying. On a lighter note, but ultimately, a lot of the efforts, that's what it matters. Efforts are all great. Ultimately, it should fructify in some kind of result. So the result matters. I think government are recognizing that. So a big portion of what they have done in the macroeconomic things is, of course, capex. I'm not going into that too high level. You and I will not feel the benefit of a lot of the macroeconomic schemes. But definitely a lot of steps have been taken towards empowering students, empowering the young population in India to ensure that they are not left without jobs. They are not left without jobs. So in order to give them the ability to take up what is changing in the economy, what is changing in technology, they have taken a lot of great efforts. But ultimately, what impacts you and I is usually taxes. It's as simple as that. Part A deals with macroeconomic, Part B deals with direct taxes and indirect taxes. Can anybody tell me any type of indirect tax? GST. Great. So GST, excise, customs, these are all your indirect taxes. And direct taxes, your income tax. So this is basically what Part B and entails in the budget. Now this direct taxes and indirect taxes is one of the few areas which will impact everybody. And immediately you will feel it. If they reduce the tax by 5%, that means you have 5% more money in your hand. It's straight away as simple as that. So any change impacted in your tax rates has a direct impact on each and every person's wallet or purse. So now, let us start with first the indirect taxes. Now one very specific thing, and you may have studied it in your theory, and I never understood it in a theory. It's only when I came into practice that I really appreciated the real difference between direct and indirect. You have studied that indirect taxes is equal to all, yes. While direct taxes you have a slab rate. For different richer people are taxed more, people who have lesser money are taxed less. But indirect taxes is the same rate for everyone. Whether it is Ambani or Adani, or whether it is you or me, we are all taxed at the same rate. There is no difference between us. If he goes and buys a pencil, it's the same rate for him as it is for me. He has to pay the same GST of 12% or 5% or 18%, whatever is applicable, as I do. Whereas when it comes to income taxes, they'll see his income. If his income is so much more, he gets taxed at a higher rate. When my income is lesser, I get taxed at a lower rate. So what are they doing when it comes to these direct taxes and indirect taxes? If we start with the indirect taxes, a big focus, you may have heard this terminology a lot, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Constantly last 1.5 years, Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat? Self-reliant India. So we will make our things ourselves. We will not import it from China. So in order to meet the goals of that, the government have taken some more steps. Basically, to simplify it, instead of making it too technical, because I don't think you need to know the technicalities, you just need to know the impact. The government, they are focused on whatever is being imported heavily from China. They have started taxing it heavily. So that you don't go to China, instead you buy it from India itself. So basically they are trying to make Indian products more attractive by making Chinese products more expensive. So people who normally go to China, not only phones, because when we say China, everyone thinks, oh, mobile, Oppo, OnePlus, that is the immediate thought process, but no, chemicals are heavily bought from China. Parts in bicycles industry, music industry, even things like your guitar, the strings, the wood that is used, etc. It's all got from China. People who are doing business in India were completely put out of business because China was able to give it at such a low cost. So what the government is doing, we want to encourage India again. So we will give benefits to India, but what we will also do is we will tax the goods which are coming in from China more. So people who want to buy it from there, they'll have to pay a little bit more, then they'll think, oh, why I should buy from there? I can get it here itself. So I might as well go down the road and get it. So they want to bring that mentality where you are dependent on India, not outside India. So eventually, as more and more people buy in India, the expectations also increase. Because one common thing you would have heard now, that quality of OnePlus phone is better than me buying some Indian-made phone. There was one Bharat phone which was announced a few years back. For 1,000 rupees you will get a mobile phone, something. And everyone paid advance. After that, company went off. So they said that they will take action, we will do this, we will do that. But ultimately, when the phone itself is not working or not available, where's the question? I'd rather pay 3,000 rupees and get a China phone, which will be functional. So they want to put an expectation on Indian makers. If I'm not going to China, then I'll expect Indian fellow, the 1,000 rupees I'm giving, I'll say, where is the quality? I want something. So he'll be forced to give some. So automatically the quality of the performance, the quality of manufacturing in India will improve. And that is a long-term game that is being played by the government over here. So these are the broad changes. Of course, the cost of jewelry is going to go up. Many of you may not be married, but the jewelry cost is definitely going up. So be prepared for that. But diamonds, people who are, you may have family members who are in the business of jewelry. The cost of diamonds is also going up. But there is something called lab-grown diamond, which is not, it's a synthetic diamond. But apparently, I don't know, I'm not much into diamonds, so I don't know. But what I read theoretically is that the characteristics of a real diamond and a synthetic diamond are almost the same. It's indistinguishable to the eye. So if I place a real diamond and I put a lab-grown diamond to you, you probably can't tell the difference. And if you go to a shop, they may charge you X amount, saying that, oh sir, this is a diamond, or madam, this is a wonderful diamond, but you don't know whether it's lab-grown or not. So government have decided, okay, we should encourage this lab-grown diamond. So now they are giving a lot of benefits to that lab-grown diamond because it's environmentally friendly and it is, again, indistinguishable. So they want India to become the hub for these lab-grown diamonds. So they are making a lot of good benefits to that. Other than that, many other changes are there, but I'm not going to dwell on that. Instead, I'm going to go to your direct taxes, which is the biggest benefit for all. That's the straightaway benefit that you will feel if there's any change. And for the first time in 8 years, in almost 8 years, there's been no change slab rate. The income tax slab rates. Have you all studied slab rates? So I think from a student point of view, the fact that it wasn't changed for 8 years was excellent. Because syllabus won't change it. It will be the same thing. When I used to study my CA, when I was doing my BCom, every budget they used to change the slab rate. Every budget they used to change the ATC. And I don't know how it is in the college here, but when you are in CA, every time there was a change for your CA exam, the rates will be updated. So if you write your exam in November, by budget is presented in March or February, at the time it used to be March. So your May exam, you will have the new rates. So if you have studied the old rates, then you are coming in May, you will have the new rates, you have to immediately get updated with it. But what used to happen, we used to have our exams in May for our CA exams, and then we used to have our university exams, BCom exams, I used to do from correspondence to Madras University. Our exams used to be immediately after that. So we used to write the exam. Our Madras University syllabus used to be 4 years old. Even older than what it was before November. So we have to unlearn. I put the correct answer, but still I will be marked 0 only. So I'm sure here it is updated. But the point is, as students, if you had permanence, it is very helpful. We never had it, but I think you people are lucky to have had some permanence in the syllabus. But now they have changed it in this budget. Anyway, your final year, not that much impact for you. So here, now we have 2 tax structures in India. Is anyone aware of that? Yes? Old regime and new regime? Yes? I'm sorry, I have a cold. I'm having a running nose, that's why I'm constantly wiping. Now, there are 2 tax regimes in India. Why are there 2 tax regimes? A very important thing. Because you people will soon have jobs. So you will have to decide which regime is better for you. Should I choose new? Should I choose old? You have to advise your parents. People will be telling you, there's some change in the budget, what should I do? So you will have to advise your family members. So how are you going to do it? First you have to know what it is. No, I'm not asking you a slab, that is theoretical. But ultimately the question is why there are 2 budgets, 2 regimes. Why are there 2 regimes? Now the old regime is a traditional regime which has been followed in India for years together. You have all studied ATC, LIC, PPF, PF, all that you can claim benefits up to 1.5 lakhs. Then 80D, you will have Mediclaim up to 50,000 you can take. Then you have your housing loan, interest on housing loan under section 24, up to 2 lakhs you can claim a loss on that. So many deductions, other than that you have HRA, LTA, so many exemptions which you have to mark up the provisions. No? So all those provisions you have marked up, all are there under the old regime. Now this old regime is very attractive because these are all expenses people generally incur. A person who is working will likely pay rent unless he stays with his family. But you are not guaranteed to get a job which city your family is, no? If you get a job in Bombay, suppose your family is okay with it, you will go to Bombay, you will work in a good company. So if you are staying in Bombay, you are not going to buy a house. First job you are taking, I will buy a house. With what money you will buy the house? So you will naturally take it on rent. So when you take a house on rent, if somebody says, we will reduce your tax by whatever rent you are paying, you will say, yes, I want that. So you will claim HRA or home rent allowance. You will be able to claim that. Similarly, leave travel allowance. Whenever you have holiday, you are going to go meet your family or you will go out somewhere with your friends. So you are going to naturally travel at a younger age. So leave travel allowance, I will definitely claim it. So if I am getting a tax benefit, I will use it. So these are all various practical allowances that the government across various years thought it necessary so that people can take the benefit of it. They can actually incur the expense and claim a tax break. And this is the concept of the old regime. And based on inflation, year on year, they used to increase it. Oh, now inflation has gone up, we have to increase it. So from 50,000, we'll make it 80. Then we'll make it 1 lakh. Then we'll make it 1 lakh 25. We'll make it 1 lakh 50. Similarly, the slab rates also used to be increased. But over the last 8 years, there's been no change in slab rate. Does that mean there's no inflation? The government have deliberately not increased the slab rate for various reasons. And then 2 years back, they brought something called the new regime. Now, under this new regime, even if you pay rent, you don't get the exemption under HRA. Even if you travel with your friends and family, you don't get LTA. Even if I invest under ATC, insurance premium, provident fund, public provident fund, I take a medical, premium medical health claim I'm taking in all of these circumstances. You don't get any tax exemption. But they are saying we will give you a lower rate. Straight away you will have a benefit. Earlier, if you had to take a tax exemption, let us assume I'm staying with my family and I have a house in Chennai, my family has a house, I'm staying with them. So I'm not going to have rental exemption because I'm not paying rent. So here, for me, I'll end up paying a higher tax because I don't have HRA compared to someone who's moving in from Bombay and staying on rent. Same income we have, but he gets a better tax. Similarly, I have to invest. Then only I get a tax break. Suppose I'm age of 21, I may say, I'm the king of the world, my health is perfect, I have no risk. Why I should take a medical premium? I don't care. Nothing is going to happen to me. Why should I take a life insurance? I'm not married. I don't have family. I can enjoy my life. I don't need any money. If I die, what will I do with the money? So I don't want a premium. So, but still, you have to pay tax because you didn't take it. If you want to save tax, you have to take that. If not, you have to pay a higher tax. So government said we'll come out with a new regime where you don't have to do any of this. If you want to take premium, you take. If you want to take insurance, you take. If you want to buy a house, you buy or you pay rent. But we will give you a lower rate. We are not going to tell you what you should do with your money to save the tax. And that is the entire concept behind the new regime. So this is of course the rates in the old regime. You may all have studied. There's no change. Once again in this budget also, there's no change in the old regime. Whereas when it comes to the new regime, they have made a few changes. One of the biggest announcements they made is that you don't have to pay tax up to 7 lakh rupees. Yes? You all heard that? So in fact, during the budget, and the Honorable Finance Minister said, obviously, as a CA, I watch the budget. A lot of professionals watch it. So when you watch the budget in the Assembly, the Finance Minister made an announcement. You do not have to pay tax up to 7 lakhs. Everyone started banging the table to appreciate it. And I said, I don't think she's finished her sentence. I just want to hear it fully. So then she repeated once again. She said, you don't have to pay tax up to 7 lakhs under the new regime. So there's one very interesting thing because they made 4 or 5 very, very good amendments. But all the amendments have come to the new regime and not to the old regime. For the government, they prefer the new regime. It's not only because they are getting a lower tax rate, but they also have to check lesser. What do I mean by that? Is when you file a return of income, you make a declaration yourself. You yourself are declaring saying, I am getting so much income, I am paying so much rent, I am put so much money in Mediclaim, I have taken such a premium. But who's checking it? What if I am lying? I can put a return saying that I got only 7 lakh rupees when I have actually got 10 lakh rupees. Yes? I can say I have taken a medical premium of 50,000 when I have not taken anything at all. I can say I paid a rent, but who's going to check it? So these cases have to be taken up in what we call income tax will take on a random basis. So people say, that sort of attitude was very prevalent in India. So government feels under the old regime, so many allowances, so many deductions are there, we have to verify whether it's correct. But under the new regime, you don't have any deduction, you don't have any allowance, straight away they are giving you a lower rate. For government it is easy, they don't have to verify anything. You can say that you took a premium, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't impact your tax. You can say that I paid rent, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't impact your tax. So government need not verify, which means they are ready to give you a lower tax rate because the costs of verifying also reduce. They don't have to verify. So they don't have to spend man hours, so they don't have to pay salary, they don't have to spend extra money to go and check the documentation. So all of these costs also saving. That is the reason why they are focusing on the new regime. It is not for, oh, I want to give people lower rate amount. The real truth is, the lesser the verification they have to do, the better it is for the government also to plug the people who are cheating the government. So that is the logic, that is the rationale, and that is why you are going to see over the next few years also, there will be an increased focus on the new regime. Of course, the communication gap is there, because when they communicate, it's not clear why they are making these changes and all. Communication is a very, very important skill. There's Barack Obama had invited the Japanese Prime Minister to come to US to meet him. The Japanese Prime Minister at the time, his is not very fluent in English. So he is practicing with this translator. You know how I should greet him. So you should say, hello, how are you? He'll say, I'm fine, how about you? You say, yes, me too. So throughout the entire flight to US, he is practicing. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? I'm fine, me too. I'm fine. And finally they land. And when they land, Barack Obama and his wife Michelle are there to greet him. So he comes down. When he gets down from the flight, instead of saying, hello, how are you? He says, hello, who are you? So Obama is a little surprised, but you know, Obama is a very witty person, you know, very intelligent. So he thinks, okay, he thinks he's playing a prank on him. So he says, hello, who are you? He says, I'm Michelle Obama's husband. He says, yes, me too. We're all familiar with this. I am a PhD product. Something we've been doing like throughout the school life. So, on a lighter note, the communication is key. So here the communication is not clear from the government. But I am trying to analyze to you and tell you what is the more rationale to it. What is the clarity in the communication that you need to have. So if you're going to choose a regime, you have to now make a decision. You have to decide, when you join your job itself, they take a declaration from you, whether you want the new regime or old regime. You have to calculate. So whatever you are studying, it's not going to waste. When you join immediately, you'll have to use the calculation. So you have to see which is better for you. Is that the new regime? Is it the old regime? What is more beneficial to you? Are you paying rent? Are you paying ATC, ATD, etc.? All of these aspects you have to cover. And then you have to calculate and see which is beneficial, and you have to choose a regime. So that's a very, very important thing. You know, of course, it's not very important to you, but I put a comparison. Which is better, the old regime or new regime? The latest new regime. What a lot of good benefits they got this time. You know, in fact, very funnily, during the budget, after the budget, you have something called a press conference, where the finance minister and the entire finance ministry, they face the media, and the media asks them a lot of questions. So one of the questions which was asked was, you know, how many people have adopted this new regime? You announced it for 2 years. How many people adopted the new regime? So they said 51% of the people have adopted, which I said is not possible. I filed the return of income for so many people. And I'm 100% sure what they're trying to say, 50% of the people have picked the new regime. Is definitely not true. My experience is 85% or 90% still prefer the old regime. Till the latest amendment, till this budget. 85 to 90% of the people prefer the old regime, it is still better. So then, whoever asked the question, I said, 51%. He said, yes, but for companies. He said, we're not talking about companies. We're talking about individuals. Then they looked at each other, then they whispered something to each other. They said, that data we don't have available now. But ultimately, that's the final question, right? If you have two regimes, you have to choose old or new, which is better. You have to evaluate which is more beneficial, accordingly you will choose. Until this budget, till the latest budget, the old regime was much more beneficial than the new regime. So that is why they're focusing on the new regime, trying to make it more attractive. But despite making it so attractive, up to 10 lakh rupees, if you have certain expenses and certain deductions that I discussed with you, the old regime is still attractive. It is still much more attractive. In my view, I would say an assessee who is above the age of 26, and the reason why I say above the age of 26 is till the age of 26, likely your salary will be 7 to 8 lakhs. It's likely that you will not be having a commitment to a family, etc. So in those circumstances, those exemptions, those deductions may not be beneficial. So in that case, you can go for the new regime. But for everybody else, the old regime is still much more attractive. So ultimately, that's the big takeaway. There's nothing else than that over here. MSME. Now this is the next big thing. Many of you are associated with small businesses or medium-sized businesses in some manner or the other. Or you may also decide to start a business or join a business. So you have to know what is the benefit. So government is pushing heavily on MSME. They want to support MSMEs. So in order to support that, they have brought through the Income Tax Act one very, very critical change. What they have said now, as per the MSME Act, they have said payments to MSMEs should be made within 45 days. Which means if I enter into an agreement with you, or I'm going to buy something, let's assume you're selling these shares to me. So if I buy these shares from you, I have to make the payment to you within 45 days. Seems fair. But in business, in real business, 45 days is nothing. People have credit terms up to 90 days, up to 6 months, sometimes up to 12 months also. You have planes, you're buying a plane. Your credit period will go into years, not months. The cost of the plane is so high, it is impossible for anyone, even Indigo or Jet Airways or whatever it is, they can't afford to buy a plane at one shot. So they defer their payment over a long period of time. But here suddenly they have said, when a company is making a payment to a MSME, a small or medium-sized or micro-sized entity, then the payment has to be made within 45 days, even if we have better terms arranged. You and I are doing business, we agree. You take up to 90 days, Abhishek. I know you, I trust you. But then they are saying as per income tax, you have to pay within 45 days. Now the next question, what if I don't pay within 45 days? What is the implication? It doesn't mean anything from a commercial point of view. But what they are saying from income tax, you all know how you calculate your profit. Sales minus purchases is going to give you a profit, correct? Assuming there's no stock and all. Sales minus your purchases minus any other expenses is your profit. What they are saying, you pay. You pay after 45 days, you pay on the 46th day also. That we are not going to stop. But you cannot take it as an expense for income tax. Which means, I'm making a sales of 100. I'm purchasing from you for 60 rupees. What they are saying is, my taxes should be on 40 rupees, which is 100 minus 60 is 40. On that I have to pay my tax. They are saying we will disregard that 60, even though you have made the payment. So really that's outflow. You have actually paid that 60 rupees. Except you have not paid within their mandated 45 days. You have paid as per your agreement with the other party. But they are saying we don't care about your agreement and all. Or else it is 45 days. So you have to pay within 45 days. Now this encourages payments to MSME, no doubt. But it's also impractical. It does not follow how business is done. Normal business is not done like this. And today with GST, where you have to monthly file the returns and all, gone are the days where I can raise the bill late, where I can show one bill, then I can get another bill, all that is gone. So in these circumstances, this 45 days is a way to put pressure to make the payments to MSME, but it completely disregards how normal business is done these days. Capital gains, okay, that's one major change here. Again, it's a little technical amendment, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it's important you know about it. So a lot of expectations in capital gains. You've all studied capital gains? All of you remember the different rates and all in capital gains? Confusing, no? So many different rates are there. No, shares means this rate, gold means this rate. What is long term, what is short term? In some cases 12 months, in some cases 24 months, in some cases 36 months. Yeah? So which is the biggest challenge for you, which you have to check each time. So that is from a academic point of view. Imagine practical, how much complexity is there. Because we have to plan for people, how we as chartered accountants or professionals, we have to plan for our clients. What asset you are selling, how you should reinvest, how many years you should hold. If you buy a land and you get a good offer today, saying that I will buy it for 50 lakhs more, you have to think, oh, if I put in tax means 30% tax will come. Otherwise, I have to see how we can save the tax. So these sort of aspects come into play when it's professionally, or even your own asset. You may be selling your own asset. So we made a recommendation to the government that there are so many tax rates. There are so many different holding periods. Make it little lesser. You merge it 2 or 3. You make it more rational. They said yes, we will consider. But they did something which nobody expected. Which is, they said, whatever benefit we are giving in capital gains, we are going to cap it. Till now there is no maximum cap on capital. Whatever value of the house property I am selling, that much I can reinvest whenever I want to. If I want to buy a new property, or what we call deductions or exemptions under 54 and 54. You can take whatever benefit you want. Now what they have done now a very, very unfortunate thing. They have said, let's assume you have a property in the heart of Chennai city. If it's a 1 ground or more, which is 2,400 square feet or more, the likelihood, the value of that property is minimum 5 to 6 crores. That is how the market is today. If it happens to be larger than 2,400 square feet, then it will double. The price will start going up. So if you are going to be selling a property in the heart of city today, 10 crores is not a very, very big amount. And this is Chennai. If you talk about Bombay or Delhi, 10 crores is normal. A person wants to live in Churchgate or in the heart of Bombay. Even if you buy a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom apartment, the cost of that runs into 8 to 10 crores. So government have now come and said, we don't care what you sell for, but if you buy an asset more than 10 crores, we will not give you any benefit beyond 10 crores. But then that 10 crores is just a figure. The reason being, a 10 crores value in Bombay or a Delhi is completely different from a 10 crore value in a Palghat or a Jodhpur or even Kumbakonam, etc. Because the same 10 crores in Kumbakonam, I can buy 10 grounds. I can buy a bungalow with 20 rooms. I can buy with a lovely little garden for me. So all of this I can spend. They are not talking about square feet and all. They are fixated on a price. So 10 crore rupees. Now my biggest concern with this 10 crore is not only the fact that they have capped it, but whether they will increase it with inflation. Now you are all studied children education allowance. Have you all studied that? Does anybody know what the figure is? 100 rupees per month per child. 100 rupees per month per child. Which school gives education for 100 rupees per month? Bus cost itself will be more than 100 rupees now. But that allowance has not changed in more than 20 years. When I was in school, it was 100 rupees. Still today, it is that same 100 rupees. That proactive there. So my fear, this 10 crores, today 10 crores itself seems not like a big number to me. Think about it 5-6 years from now. 10 crores will be normal. It will be a normal figure. But like our children education allowance, if they don't increase this, then everyone will be subject to heavy capital gains tax. That's a very, very big fear that I have when it comes to this. And the very purpose of it, I don't know. I was thinking why they brought this. Because I did not understand that nobody made this representation. There's no issue with this. Why suddenly they brought it? I think basically they have been reading, like how we have Chennai Times here for Times of India. They have Bombay Times in Bombay. One of the very recent popular articles, maybe you would have seen, Alia Bhatt sold her apartment for 14 crore rupees. Ranveer Singh sold his apartment and bought a new apartment for more than 10 crore rupees. That is the most recent articles. I think that is the reason why they brought it, really. I really think it's that. No other reason. 3-4 big actors in Bombay sold their properties for 10 crores and above. That is the only reason why I think, because they also probably read Bombay Times like that. I enjoy reading Chennai Times. So maybe they are also like that. So that's the only rationale I think about it. Other than that, I still till date, it's been more than 7 days since the budget, which is a very long time in a budget scenario. You have a lot of interviews, a lot of experts, a lot of analysis done. We had an analysis meeting on the 1st, which was attended by more than 1,000 people. So by now, you can imagine how many people are experts when it comes to the budget. Until now, I have not got a justification why 10 crores. So that's a very, very alarming scenario. Now, other than this, there have been, a lot more changes in few technical aspects. It's not going to impact you on a day-to-day basis. But overall, despite me making all these jokes, etc., the important thing is to know times change very fast. So the government has to be very, very quick when it makes the changes. Now, there was a Japanese man who was in Chennai, and he was taking a flight to Japan. So he booked a Ola. As usual, they cancelled. Then he booked a Uber. They also cancelled. So finally, he had to call for an auto. So he got into an auto and he said, go to the airport. He said, what man, you are going so slowly? Look at that car over there. Honda, made in Japan. Very fast, very fast. Then after some time, he said, what man, is getting late. Drive faster. Look at that car over there. Mitsubishi, made in Japan. Very fast, very fast. Auto fellow is getting irritated, but he's keeping his cool. Then they are entering the airport, about to enter. He said, go fast, the flight is going to take off. See that car next to you, Suzuki, made in Japan, very fast, very fast. Auto fellow with full irritation but keeping calm. Then he gets down. He says, how much I should pay? He says, 6,000 rupees. He says, 6,000 rupees. He says, yes, meter, made in India, very fast. So our budget also is like that meter only. Keeps on changing. Unfortunately, like that education alone, certain things only don't change. But government has to be proactive. From their angle, they have taken great efforts to try and make the budget appeal to everyone and keep everyone happy. So we have to definitely appreciate that effort. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Gratitude is not in the words, but in the heart which expresses it. Now I would like to call upon Gayatri to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you for being a ray of sunshine even on my darkest days. I, Gayatri, on behalf of Shri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Sachin Jain College for Women and the Department of Commerce, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to today's chief guest, Dr. C.A. Abhishek Murali, on delivering an informative and productive session on the topic Unwrapping Union Budget 2023. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your precious time with us today amongst your busy schedule and projecting the notches of budgets from pin to plain. Special thanks to the support extended by the management for successful conduct of the event. A special mention to our respected Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal Ma'am for the valuable input for the event. Great thanks to the media coverage team for the video coverage. Value to note the contribution of program coordinators, teaching and non-teaching faculty for the untiring support. Without the timely array of the facility team, this event wouldn't have been a great success. My sincere thanks to our department faculties and also our beloved students who have joined us today for the event. Once again, thank you all. Have a good day.